Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And of course, a number of members have welcomed this debate, and on behalf of the Scottish Government, I also thank Colin Kerr for bringing forward this motion. It is right we take the time to highlight and celebrate the contribution of the Royal Highland Educational Trust, the contribution they make to teaching Scottish school children about the issues surrounding food, farming and the countryside. Providing a crucial link between urban and rural communities, the charity is making great strides in helping to promote a better understanding of our way of life and how to enjoy the countryside responsibly. He will.
Christine Graham.
Thank you very much, Minister. When in my teaching days, a pupil asked me if hens laid eggs hard with a little stamp on them. Can I ask the Minister this question, which I don't know the answer to? Does the hen lay eggs that are soft and then they harden? Because I'm thinking of the hen.
Stewart Stevenson.
One of the party tricks is to boil one egg and not boil the other. Put the two on a desk, get them both spinning, and then put your hand on both of them to stop them spinning, and lift your hand off. You will discover one of them restarts spinning and one doesn't. The soft one that hasn't been cooked will restart spinning. But anyway, as the teacher has taught me something, I hope I've taught her something. I think, turning to a number of the contributions that have been made in the Chamber this evening, Colin Kerr talked about how healthier choices for the young, and he touched on careers in food and drink. Absolutely. Food and drink is something which is very important for our economy, but it's also very important for the health of people throughout their life, that they make good and appropriate choices. And I'm sure that RET is contributing to people making healthier choices. I have to say, as someone who was brought up in a rural community myself, I still find myself doing things that seem to astonish my officials when I'm out and about. For example, going on a farm and picking a bit of clover and just sticking it in my mouth to get the wonderful sweet flavour of that. They look at me in horror. What are you doing, Minister? But that's the sort of thing which, of course, us country dwellers would do naturally. It connects us back to nature. My earliest recollection of a farm is around the age of 3, somewhere near Wick, sitting on a wall, being asked to count the sheep coming through the dip. I suspect my counting was somewhat inaccurate, but it probably introduced me to an important concept for use in the urban setting that came from the rural one. I have to say this year I'm disappointed to say I will not be at the Highland Show, as I'm taking part in the Rio +20 conference, and I won't be back. Interesting revelations. Jean Urquhart talked about the Alcor Foundation in Iceland funding outdoor school rooms. That sounds very interesting. If we can just get the weather management under control, that would be absolutely excellent. And Claudia Beamish introduced quite an important side reference in her remarks when she talked about children washing hands. And I think even if children just understand that when you go to the farm, it's perfectly safe as long as you take care of yourself, you make sure that you don't transfer the wrong things from your hands to your stomach, and take due care of yourself. And that's part of the learning process that is applicable in quite a wide range of areas. And she spoke very warmly of Jim Warnock, a farmer in her region's contributions to educating children who come there. Yes, I will.
Ali Ferguson.
I was similarly delighted to hear Jim Warnock's name mentioned. I'm sure the Minister would join with me in applauding the fact that he was awarded today, given due recognition for his contribution to the sheep sector at Scott Sheep at Dumfries House just this morning.
Stewart Stevenson.
I'm delighted to hear that. The Cabinet Secretary, of course, was speaking at Scott Sheep at Dumfries House this morning. I don't know if he was the one who made the award or not, but always delighted to hear of achievement in a rural sector. Aileen MacLeod interestingly talked about the next generation of auctioneers. Perhaps if they fail at auctioneering, they can come and be politicians instead. Alec Ferguson also, of course, referred to Alison Motion, who I think is in the Chamber with us today, who's been the key person who has been coordinating much of the activity. And Alec Ferguson also talked about milk, of course, and again, that took me back to that when we used to go holidaying, we always went camping in a rural area. And in those days, I used to be sent down with the milk jug, and the milk jug would be filled directly from the cow and would be in the cup within 10 or 15 minutes. That's the kind of experience that today's children, they just don't realise, but people like myself do. And I think Graham Day came up with the best phrase of the debate, if I may say so: classroom into the countryside, countryside into the classroom. And if that doesn't capture the essence of what the Trust are trying to do, I don't think anything else will do. I think this will be the last one.
Maureen Watt.
Will the Minister join me in also recognising that REC's work has an important role to play in a safer Scotland and in fewer knives, better lives, where people, for example, like gamekeepers, show that knives are only used for work and grollicking deer rather than taking to Kirkcaldy or Glenrothes, as one pointed out on a visit that I joined children with?
Minister.
I think that just illustrates perfectly, and is of course perfectly correct, the breadth of experience that can be crammed into actually quite short visits very often, showing children that the country is a real part of their life, even if they spend comparatively little time in it. And the reference has been made to the curriculum for excellence and the role that all this can play in that. So that it's been a wide-ranging debate. It's been something that I think has picked up the interests of many different people. I haven't heard directly in the debate, although the motion makes reference to the support that there is from a number of companies for this initiative, and I very much welcome that, putting a bit back. People like Tesco, who are selling the products that come from the country, I think it's proper that they and others like them should be making contributions to this, and I very much welcome the fact that they've done so. Whether it's through farm visits or working with local companies, embedding food topics in the curriculum, food education and education about the countryside is key to helping young folks understand the role that food plays in their lives. And all the encouragement that we can give and that the Trust gives is very much to be welcomed. I once again recognise the fantastic work that the Trust is doing, the success in delivering a programme of farm and estates visits for 15,000 young people per year by 2015. Let's all join in wishing them all the best for their future success. Presiding Officer.
Many thanks, Minister. That concludes Colin Keir's debate on Royal Highland Educational Trust, and I now close this meeting of Parliament.